The morning lights inside Studio B of The Kelly Clarkson Show glowed warm and golden, casting a soft haze across the audience rows as people filled in, buzzing with excitement. It was a special episode. Kelly had been teasing a big musical surprise for days. Fans suspected collaborations, an unexpected duet, or maybe a behind-the-scenes reveal from one of today's biggest rising icons. But no one expected the episode to become one of the most talked-about moments in daytime TV history. Teddy Swims, dressed in his signature cozy, oversized jacket and calm, approachable demeanor, stepped into the backstage hallway, humming to himself. For him, TV appearances were routine now, but this one meant something deeper. Kelly had long praised him as one of the most soulful voices of the generation, and Teddy had always admired her authenticity and kindness. Today was supposed to be easy, an interview, a performance, and maybe a light-hearted game segment. He had no idea that within the hour, frustration, miscommunication, and raw emotion would pull him off stage in a storm of tension. As producers rushed around with clipboards and earpieces, Teddy's manager squeezed his shoulder. "You good?" she asked. Teddy nodded. "Always. Just wanna keep things honest." Honest. That word would soon become the core of the clash. Meanwhile, Kelly Clarkson stood center stage, sparkling with her natural warmth, but behind her friendly smile was a visible flicker of exhaustion. She had been juggling long shooting days, personal obligations, and executive responsibilities. Even on her most overwhelming days, she still greeted every guest with real heart. But as she reviewed the cue cards for Teddy's segment, her eyebrows knotted. Something in the prepared questions didn't sit right. When the countdown hit 0 and the cameras went live, the studio erupted with applause. Kelly launched into her opening monologue before inviting Teddy out. The audience roared as he appeared, waving and grinning wide. Everything started smooth, laughs, compliments, mutual respect. But as the conversation deepened, a shift began to stir. Kelly leaned forward. "So Teddy, people online are talking. There's been a lot of speculation about the sudden delay in your new album's release. Some believe it's creative disagreements. Some say label pressure. What's the real story?" Teddy blinked. He hadn't expected this. He'd been told the interview would focus on his tour, his fans, and his latest single, not the behind-the-scenes conflict he'd been trying quietly to manage with his team. He hesitated, choosing his words. "Well, you know how it is. I just want my music to be true to me. There's been conversations, but nothing dramatic." Kelly pressed. More than she usually did, perhaps too much for a casual morning show. "But isn't it true that you walked out of a session last week because of the disagreement about your sound? There's a video going around." The crowd murmured. Teddy shifted in his seat, caught between honesty and caution. "Kelly, look, that clip was out of context. It wasn't that serious." Kelly nodded, but her tone sharpened, not angrily, but insistently. "I get it, I really do. I've been through the industry wars myself. But your fans care. They want transparency. Don't they deserve to know the truth?" Teddy's smile slowly faded. Something in him tightened. "I've always been transparent with my fans. But that doesn't mean I gotta unpack personal business on television." The room stiffened, and though Kelly meant no harm, she pushed again, just one step too far. "But if the label is forcing your direction..." Teddy cut in, his voice lower, more controlled. "Kelly, with respect, that's not something I want to talk about right now." Kelly pursed her lips, not defensive, just slightly taken aback. "Okay, but you can understand why people are curious." At this point, the air felt charged, and the audience sensed the growing friction. Teddy exhaled slowly. "Curiosity is one thing, but this feels like pressure. I came here to share my music, not talk drama." Kelly opened her mouth to soften the moment, but a producer fed a note into her earpiece. She glanced at the cue cards again, another pointed question about industry conflicts, and for a moment, her expression flashed irritation. Not at Teddy, but at her team. Still, Teddy misread it. He leaned back, arms crossed. "If you didn't want the truth, why invite me at all?" Kelly looked directly at him. "I do want the truth, Teddy. That's the point." And something inside him snapped. "Tired of people twisting things," Teddy muttered, rising from his seat. "I'm not doing this." The audience gasped. Kelly lifted a hand, trying to defuse the moment. Teddy. Hey. Wait, this is not what I... But he was already stepping off stage, shaking his head in disbelief. The cameras cut to an emergency commercial break as Kelly remained seated, visibly startled but trying to stay composed. The crew scrambled. Producers jogged after Teddy while Kelly's mic was lowered. Backstage, he paced angrily. Why would she go there? Why ambush me like that? From the stage, Kelly was telling her producers that wasn't supposed to be confrontational. Why were those questions even added? He thinks I attacked him. It was a miscommunication that spiraled rapidly into public spectacle, a clash born not from hostility but from exhaustion, misunderstanding, and the pressure of live television. When the show returned from break, Kelly faced the cameras with composure, though her voice carried a subtle tremor. We're taking a moment to reset. We'll continue shortly. The audience sat silently, whispering among themselves. Teddy, meanwhile, stood in the hallway, breathing hard, trying to gather himself. Neither of them wanted a fight. Neither of them had intended to hurt the other. But the world had already seen him walk off. And the fallout was only beginning.